Goku, the iconic protagonist of the Dragon Ball franchise, is renowned for his unparalleled strength, which has captivated fans worldwide ever since his character made his first appearance back in the 90s. His journey from a humble Saiyan child to one of the universe's strongest warriors encapsulates a narrative of relentless growth, resilience, and the pursuit of ultimate power. At the core of Goku's strength is his Saiyan heritage, which inherently predisposes him to immense physical capabilities. This biological advantage, combined with his indomitable spirit, sets the stage for his extraordinary power levels. I mean, Goku's training regimen in and of itself is already legendary, from his early days with Master Roshi, where he learned the basics of martial arts, to his more advanced training under King Kai in the other world. Goku has always pushed his limits. And his training with Whis, an actual angel, introduced him to the concept of Ultra Instinct, a state where his body moves and fights autonomously, surpassing the limits of actually having to think about stuff during battle. This technique also currently marks the pinnacle of his power. Now, this makes Goku sound pretty damn unbeatable, right? Like, we all know he is ungodly strong. He could quite literally annihilate the entire cosmos itself if he wasn't the very epitome of a good guy. But what if I was to tell you that I have 6 characters who could beat Goku? And you wanna know the best part? They are all from ReZero of all things. I think I have done a total of 3 characters from ReZero in my little how far would they get in Dragon Ball series, if I'm remembering correctly that is, and on pretty much all of them, people seem to believe they would lose to the farmer with a shotgun or some ridiculous stuff like that. Now, I have handpicked 6 characters who I think would stand a very decent chance against Goku in a one-on-one fight. But I will be honest here, I have had to separate them into 2 different categories. These being people who can beat Goku for sure, and people who could beat Goku depending on how you look at them. I felt this was only fair since I am obviously far from a flawless person, so categorizing them like this just only seemed fair. Honestly, like, I'm not going to pretend like, oh, it's clear cut. Like, in some of these cases, you might have to look at it a specific way. But on the side of these guys can actually beat Goku, we have Subaru, Aldebaran, Regulus, and Pandora. And on the side of depending on how you look at them, they could potentially win, we have Reinhardt and the Gluttony siblings. So let's just kick things off with the MC himself. Now, look, I am only slightly stupid. I completely understand that in a normal fistfight, Subaru would get his ass handed to him. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that one out. But the fun part with Subaru is that repeatedly getting his teeth kicked in is actually what enables him to win. His return by death ensures he can never truly lose. If he is defeated, he can simply try again and again and again until he finds the needle in the haystack which enables him to win. I believe this same analogy would work against Goku. It might take 1,000 tries, it might take 100,000 tries, or it might even take millions of tries. But eventually, Subaru could find a series of events which would lock Goku in the hyperbolic time chamber or some shit, like those wacky what-if videos on YouTube. And this same logic does apply to Aldebaran. His authority is very similar to and simultaneously better and worse than Subaru's return by death. The plus is that Al can actually choose his own spawn points, and the minus is that he has to manually activate the ability every time he wants to use it. But again, in theory, Al can just infinitely retry until he reaches that golden chain of events. I vehemently believe that even if it is just a 0.0000 infinite 01% chance for them to win, they will eventually reach that point if they just keep trying. But don't worry, the next guy can actually fight Goku and just win. Regulus is one of those completely broken characters who is completely untouchable if he has his abilities up. Like, seriously, nothing can touch the guy with the exception of maybe specific magic and reality-altering powers, none of which Goku has, by the way. The way Regulus works is that he is able to stop the flow of time from affecting himself, anything he is wearing, anything he has touched, and anything that comes out of him. He cannot be affected by outside forces, and any attacks against the user in this state are completely negated. Goku literally cannot damage him unless he murders every innocent woman Regulus has given his heart to, and let's be honest, Goku will not do that. That's not Goku. He wouldn't just murder like 150 random women. Come on now. And the fun thing is, meanwhile, Regulus can actually damage Goku. The objects he touches seem to move at normal speeds to our eyes, but they are not. Like, they are actually in a different time stream and will move forward. Like, seriously, they will move forward no matter what. They are unstoppable weapons that ignore anything that comes their way. Goku can fire off his entire arsenal against a grain of sand Regulus scoots his way, and that grain of sand will go right through Goku, leaving a gaping hole. Given Goku's personality, I just do not see him disabling Regulus's abilities, and in turn I do not see him beating Regulus. Regulus is like Goku's worst possible matchup in terms of personality and power. He will literally kick his ass to hell and back. And finally, for this side of the roster, we have Pandora. Now, Pandora can literally just say fuck you to reality. All she has to do is say Goku shits himself and game ends from shame, and that is exactly what Goku will do. She has the authority of vainglory, and from what we have seen from this power, she can just say whatever the hell she wants and reality will just bend to make it as she wants it to be. This power is just plain unfair and broken, that there is nothing Goku can do to someone unkillable who can bend reality to whatever she wants it to be. But I will note that we have not seen all that much of Pandora yet. What I just said is based on the stuff we have seen thus far. It is entirely possible we get to learn of restrictions and limits to her power in the future, but for now she is the most broken anime character I've ever seen, like absolutely disgustingly broken. But now we arrive at the other side of things with characters that quote unquote could beat Goku if you look at them in a certain way. The biggest one of these two has to be Reinhardt. In my video I did of him versus Dragon Ball, I concluded that he technically could make it all the way through if and only if his powers worked the same way they do in ReZero. Reinhardt is blessed by the world in such a way that he will receive blessings to counter situations he encounters. A good example of this in the latest chapter of ReZero is where he fights against Aldebaran. In this chapter, Al chucks a literal star at him, like a planet star. Like, yes, planetary, I know, who would have thought ReZero went planetary. And what does Reinhardt do? He obtains the divine protection of ball handling, like a circus performer who can juggle balls. And since that star is technically kind of a ball, Reinhardt now has complete control over it. Like, shit's not fair, man. It doesn't make sense. It's not fair. Reinhardt's entire existence is summarized in the following sentence. Wow, that's a nice ultimate unbeatable power you have there. Sure would be a shame if I pulled its exact counter out of my ass. T. And depending on how you view that power, he could theoretically just obtain the counters he needs against Goku and beat his ass shitless. But this is only the case if you look at him in that way, of course. Hence why he is in the asterisk group of this video. And just a side note here, Satella is seemingly in a similar situation to Reinhardt, but we know almost nothing about her except that Reinhardt would be unlikely to beat her. And since we know barely anything about her, I just did not include her in this video because whatever take I want to form on her, it wouldn't have enough substance to kind of back me up, so I just said no, I'm just not going to include her. But next up we have the Gluttony siblings, and all three of these guys have the power to eat something of their enemy. They can take someone's name or memory by touching them and then licking that same hand. If a person's name is eaten, they will be forgotten by everybody who ever knew them, and if a person's memory is eaten, they will enter a comatose state where they will forget everything about themselves. And if both their name and their memory have been eaten, they will just simply turn into a shell that never ages in suspended animation. But if that was not enough, they can utilize their power in two more ways. Their lunar eclipse and their solar eclipse. By using the lunar eclipse, they can use the memories and abilities of their victims, and if they use the solar eclipse, they can take on the victim's appearance. But in their specific case, they would have to touch Goku in order to activate the ability, and that can go one of two ways. Either they trick Goku into dropping his guard and don't act like he would never do that, we have that one sorbet incident after all, and they just instantly win, or Goku does not let them touch him and they instantly lose. Just like Reinhardt, depending on your stance, they will either make it or fake it against Goku, but they 100% stand a good chance of winning in scenario A. And guys, look, Goku might be unbelievably strong, but I believe that these 6 characters could beat him. But I am far more curious what you guys think would happen if these characters fought against Goku. And maybe I even forgot some characters from ReZero, so be sure to let me know in the comments down below what you think of this video and this topic. But with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for watching today's video. As per usual, I truly do appreciate every single viewer that takes the simple time out of the day to watch my content. It makes me very happy to know that even a handful of people just enjoys the content I produce. And if you would like to see more of my content in the future, please consider clicking the subscribe button and turning on all notifications for my channel. So work hard, study well, and eat and sleep plenty, and I will see you all again in the next video. Peace out.